I think you might have to change the name of your organisation, Stephen, the way things are going.
Yes, no, actually, that's really funny that you've been talking about that, because over the weekend we were having discussions with people saying the whole purpose of our institution was to try and show people that a managed migration can lead to prosperity, and what we have now is unmanaged migration showing a lack of prosperity. So maybe we were right, but it is time to change the name.
Yes, I mean, formerly known as the Centre for Migration and Economic Prosperity, you know, but now Keir Starmer's doing his very best to completely ruin the country. And I mean, here he is off again, you know, the 15th trip he's made abroad. You know, I mean, do me a favour. I mean, I'm not one. I'm in favour of him actually staying away for the rest of the duration. But it does seem to be a bit ridiculous. We've got a migrant crisis, we've got an NHS crisis, we've got a schools crisis, we've got a farming crisis. I can't imagine we've got an energy crisis. And he thinks it's a great idea to go to the G20 to talk to the Chinese about how our relations should be better. I was saying this morning, maybe he should think about his relations with the people of this country.
I would have hoped that he'd have a concept that actually understanding what the people of this country want would be really important. What we don't want is our farmers taxed so much that we can't have any food. What we do want is to have our borders controlled, not paying money to other people to manage and control their borders. When he's criticised others like Trump for building a wall. You know, this is the sort of man that lives in a bubble, and that's what happens when you become part of the Labour elite, the socialist liberal elite. They live in comfortable homes, live within a group of people that only talk about things that matter to them and don't understand what's going on in the country.
Yeah, exactly right. And of course now we're getting the same old from you know, the man that was going to solve the immigration crisis by stopping the boats. Instead of that, he's announced over the weekend that we're going to just pay more money out to a load more countries like Vietnam, like Iraq, and God knows where else, just in order to try and stop people from coming. Well, we all know what happens when you give money to countries like that. It all goes into the coffers of the individuals in government, and no migrant will ever see it, and nobody will ever be stopped from leaving because it's not in their interest to stop them.
Absolutely not. This is the migrant money tree that I keep saying that is in the interests of somebody. Now, who's it in the interest? In the UK, it's obviously property developers and companies who are making a lot of money out of hotels, who are holding the illegal migrants and asylum seekers that come to this country. But here he is proposing that he wants to go to Kurdistan, Vietnam and Turkey, will pay them money so that they can control their borders. Now, haven't we heard that story already? We are paying hundreds of millions, 500 million that we paid France to control the borders. Has it stopped the illegal channel migrants coming across? No. We are paying Albania to just accept those people who are illegal, that have left their country. Has it stopped them coming? No, it slowed them down, I admit, because of the returns policy. Actually getting that in place. And I had a quick look, Mike. Our border in the UK is only 310 miles all around. But if you go to try and pay Vietnam, that is actually 2,883 miles for their border. It's 1,440 miles for the Turkish border and 300 miles for the Kurdistan border. So how is he going to stop them? How much money does he have to give them if he can't stop them coming in our own border, which is much, much smaller?
Exactly. And also, how do you measure the success of it? Because, you know, clearly the route that people coming from Vietnam are coming is a very well-worn and professionally run human trafficking route. Now, we know which way they're coming, so surely to disrupt that would be simpler than to give a load of money to the government to try and stop people from being you know, convinced to leave.
Well, I think the first and foremost is actually having a deterrence policy here. Rwanda is a potential, and we should have made that work. The secondly is actually to face down the French and saying we're going to return them back to your border, thus pushing the issue onto the European Union to control their borders, which are much easier. They should be able to control the border with Turkey. And you're right, there is a well-run route. If you look at the Afghan route, they are leaving Afghanistan and coming across from Iraq into Turkey. From there, they have staging posts in a number of towns and cities in Turkey, where they are then moved across to the borders of Britain, so they can get into Britain. And that's one of the well-known routes from the east. But we also have to deal with the Western Mediterranean route, the Eastern Mediterranean route, and all of these are where the illegal migrant gangs are making $1 billion a year. This is going to be chicken feed compared to what the migrant gangs have in their control.
Yeah, exactly right. And also, another story at the weekend that came across my desk where the Home Office and their inability to actually understand anything about the world is having a massive effect as well. Because rather like when so many Albanians came here pretending to be Kosovan Albanians and seeking asylum because there was a war going on which was ethnically cleansing them, when it turned out they weren't at all Kosovan Albanians, they were just Albanians. We've now got apparently loads of people coming here pretending they're from Eritrea because it's a war-torn country, and nobody's smart enough to work out they're not from Eritrea at all. An awful lot of them are from Ethiopia. And you just kind of go, if it's that bloody easy to get into the country, no wonder we can't stop them.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I look at this. Eritrea has been one of the big countries that have been making asylum claims since 2000. As I say, the research that we published that showed that over 1 million asylum applications have been made since the year 2000. Amongst the top 10, Eritrea has been there consistently. And so it's a really important thing for those people in Africa to try and make that claim. But I look at what the asylum caseworkers have to work with. And a lot of the kind of published research and the rules from the government shows that they can't really DNA test people. They're not allowed to go much deeper. All they're doing is questioning where do they come from, what towns, and trying to say, do you know what happens in this particular city or town in this particular country? So it's really, really hard for the caseworkers. And so we should be introducing DNA tests and other forms of physically being able to capably understand where these people come from.
Mind you, if you fail on the Eritrean test, you can always just say you're gay, and then you get a free house.
Well, that's an even bigger number. I was looking at that numbers over the course, and of course we're all very conscious now of our non-chrome hate incidents, aren't we, Mike? Because of what happened.
Yeah, I keep committing them all the time. Luckily, no one's been round to the door yet.
I've been particularly careful about this one, but one is looking at the facts. I've actually opened up this morning. I did so over the weekend, but just so we have it definitely here in front of us, the Home Office figures on that. Since the year 2015 to the year 2021, Mike, there was an average 491 approvals. Yeah. But in the last 2 years, that's jumped to 762 and then 2,133. Wow. That's a 430% increase in people who have been granted asylum. And that's matched the period in time in which Rishi Sunak's illegal migration bill came into concept and then implemented into law as the illegal migration. So you therefore got to say, hang on a minute, you have an average of 491 for the previous 6 years. A law comes into place that says we're just going to remove anybody who comes across on a boat from the channel illegally. And then suddenly the only claim that you can make, that one of them that you can stay, is either a child or that you're gay.
And incredible.
Or LGBT.
Yeah.
And so the numbers on both of those rise. Is there a correlation?
Well, if you look at the other numbers that are rising massively, it's the number of asylum applications and the number of asylum applications that are granted, right? For 8 countries, 100% of claims have been successful from people from Afghanistan, El Salvador, Syria, Eritrea, Myanmar, Libya, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Yemen. A Home Office spokesman said it's important we clear through the asylum backlog and provide protection to individuals fleeing persecution. Now, I've been to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's pretty nice there. I'm not sure what kind of persecution you can get. You know, Mystique does a very nice pina colada at this time of year in Basil's Bar. I didn't notice much persecution, to be honest.
No, I do think, and I've heard someone say to myself, well, for everyone that comes in from Mystique and the Grenadines and Barbados, can we not send one of our own Brits back over there?
Yes, I'll volunteer.
Yeah, and exactly that. But what I do find out, this isn't just a Keir Starmer issue, though, Mike. This, for once, we can give him a little bit of leeway on this, although he's not clamping down on it. This actually started under Rishi Sunak. Yeah. And Rishi Sunak changed the policy rules for the caseworkers that's made it really easy for many more people to actually be approved at the first instance. There used to be a 70% decline of people from asylum applications to be granted that at first instance. That now is going really low, and that's because we've allowed our discretionary choice to improve. This is not UNHCR rules of asylum or even the ECHR. This is our discretion to allow them in. This is the scandal of allowing more people in just because we feel that it's okay to let them in from those countries.
Yeah, it is extraordinary. It's almost as if they're not looking out the window. You know, they're not seeing it looks a bit busy out there. You know, you can't get on a train, you can't get on you can't get a car, you know, you can't do anything because there's too many people here. Good to talk to you, Stephen Woolfe. Thank you very much indeed.